All right, here we go. Here we go. Hello, my Insta fam. Hello, Mrs. T to you. Um, hello. Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Change Talk. As per usual, my name is Tiffany Jenkins. I am your host for tonight. Change Talk is just a live where I jump on and talk about a number of issues that are related to mental health, um, self-care, leadership, things that, are in my wheelhouse. I try to jump on and have some hopefully relevant content for you guys each week. Hello, Elder Paul. How are you? And so we stream live on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, and Periscope. So wherever you happen to be joining me from, welcome. It's very interesting that the topic that I chose for tonight was the impact of prayer on your mental health. And it's been a rough day. So I've had to use all of the stuff that I'm about to talk to you guys about tonight, which is, it's always fun. It's always interesting when what you're presenting you're tested on, right? Just make sure that you know what you're talking about. Keep showing your toes. So regardless of where you're joining me from, it's always the same. Jump right in. I like it when you talk back to me. So your comments, your questions, you can leave them right in the chat box. Feel free to share the channel, the information with your friends and followers. And usually we're not here more than about 20 or 30 minutes. Every now and then we get a little deep in our conversations and they go a little bit longer, but I try to respect everyone's time. Hello, Keisha Michelle 72. So as you're jumping in, just say hi, wave. If you have any questions as we're going through the discussion, just jump right in, leave them. If you happen to catch this show on the replay, wherever you happen to catch it, hashtag replay so that I know that that's how you're joining me, and jump right in and ask your questions just as if you were here live with us tonight, because I do like to go back and see what everyone had to say. Let's see, housekeeping things. If you're not already on the mailing list, you want to get on the mailing list. I know I keep saying that, but it's true. You want to get on the mailing list. Why do you want to get on the mailing list? Well, if you were on the mailing list for the month of May, you got a sneak peek about something that will be announced to the general public in a couple of weeks, but you get the opportunity to get in on advanced things like that. You also get special coupons and promos and all kinds of great stuff. And every month you'll get just a little love note from me. So if you are on the mailing list and you haven't checked your email yet, you want to check your email. And if you have a Gmail account like I do, you also want to check your I think it's called promotions, one's updates. Check those two folders as well, because you might have some goodies waiting in your inbox that you're kind of missing out on. And I think it's pretty exciting news, but I could be a little bit biased because I'm the one who sent out the letter. So let's jump into tonight's topic. We're talking about the impact of spirituality, but specifically prayer, on mental health. So today happens to be National Day of Prayer. It is also National Nurses Day. We're in the middle of Nurses Appreciation Week and Teachers Appreciation Week, which I think is interesting that today is the National Day of Prayer, which falls under that, and that they all fall into Mental Health Awareness Month. I don't think any of that is coincidental, because if you are a nurse or a teacher, I'm sure you have to pray very, very often for a number of issues in order to protect your mental health. So tonight, I just want to focus on prayer specifically and how it can be used as one of the tools in the toolbox that we have to help us in tough situations and to strengthen our mental health, and also talk a little bit about why those two things aren't polar opposites, right? So if you've been watching the show for any amount of time, you know that one of the things that I'm really big on is bridging the gap between spirituality and mental health. There's a course that's available on the website that's called Between the Couch and the Cross, where we really dig into this a lot more in depth, going through all of the ways that we can bring our spirituality into healing spaces. But tonight specifically, I want to talk about a couple things. So we'll start with what prayer is, right? So a very basic definition that is devoid of any particular religious theory or religious inkling is prayer is communicating with the divine. Now, for me, the divine is God. I'm Christian, so I believe in Jesus Christ as, the person who I pray to and in whose name I pray. I have friends of mine who are Muslim and who are observing Ramadan right now, which is a time of dedicated prayer and fasting. I have friends who are Jewish, and they have different religious beliefs, but in all of those, we all believe in prayer, right? And I'll even go so far as to extend that to meditation as well, because even though meditation has, I feel like, gotten kind of watered down in recent years, meditation is really just sitting in stillness so that you can hear from the divine, whoever the divine is for you. And so what we know, and by we, I mean the folks who actually do research and read research, the research shows us very clearly that folks who are what's called intrinsically religious, that means folks who have a personal connection to their religious and spiritual beliefs, who use prayer as a coping mechanism, have decreased instances of depression, decreased instances of anxiety, and just overall lower stress and better quality of life. Now, I'm not talking about their church attendance. I'm not talking about their rules, regulations, morals, and all of that associated with their religious beliefs. Just the folks who have what we can define as a connection to the divine. Those folks have lower instances of a lot of the common mental health issues, right? Now, if you were born and raised in a Christian faith like I was, we weren't really taught very much about mental health as being part of our belief system, but it's all still there, right? When we talk about having peace, when we talk about having resilience to make it through some of our life's challenges, I can speak from my experience. A lot of that comes from a belief in something greater than myself, a plan greater than my own, right? And because of that, it gives me a certain assurance that even on days like tonight, like I said, when I was getting ready to come on, there were a lot of things that were coming up that I literally just had to stop and whisper a quick prayer. And prayer doesn't have to follow any prescription and length or whatever. But I had to kind of gather my thoughts, whisper a quick prayer, and get centered so that, I could finish my day. If I'm being honest, I had multiple of those times today where I just had to kind of stop and breathe and ask for peace and direction and clarity. And I could take that moment, receive that peace and that clarity, and then move forward. That helped my mental health. So in that moment, in using that quick prayer, right, that just, okay, God, I'm frustrated, I'm overwhelmed, I'm not my best right now, I really need your help, and sitting for that moment until I could figure out which way to go, that was my way of protecting my mental health. And that's why it is important. You may not call it necessarily prayer. Hey, Yanni. You may not necessarily call it prayer. You might call it meditation. You may call it communing with the divine, whatever it is that you call it. It's important for our mental health because it becomes a tool that helps us when we're kind of at the end of our rope, right? And I'm having one of those kind of overwhelming days. Yeah, you just got to whisper a prayer, take a deep breath, and keep it trucking. And here's the thing. I think it's important for us to know that everybody prays differently. So I'm a church baby, right? So one of my favorite stories in the Bible was where Peter was in the boat, right? And they see Jesus walking on water. And Peter says, hey, if it's you, then tell me to come out and I'll come out, right? And so Peter gets out of the boat and he starts walking on water. And it's like, oh, this is cool. I'm walking on the water. But Peter starts to drown, right? And Peter freaks out. This is my translation. This is not like any translation I was born with. Y'all just got to work with me on this one, okay? Peter gets out. Peter starts to drown and he starts freaking out. What Peter does next is pray, right? Now, we don't often think of it in that way, but Peter had a prayer. Peter said, Lord, save me. There was no, starting off with a hymn, moving into the Our Fathers. There was, you know what I mean? He didn't do all of that. Peter said, Lord, save me. And the story goes that Jesus reaches down, pulls him up, and puts him back on the boat, right? So what that tells me, Yanni said, come on, Bishop Dr. J. No. What that tells me is that my prayer doesn't have to be a bunch of eloquent words. It doesn't have to be some long diatribe about, anything. In the moment when I need it, I believe, and this may or may not align with what you believe, but I believe that God is big enough to hear us when we just say, help me. And that help me is so full of everything that we don't necessarily have to go through everything that we need help with, right? When we're overwhelmed and we're frustrated, right, T? When we're like, this is one of those days and I don't know if I have enough. Just that simple help me is enough. It helps you kind of surrender everything that's going on. Kind of, I say assume the position, your hands are up and surrender. It helps you just kind of give up in a good way. You give up trying to control it and you rest in knowing that God's got you, right? Now, hey, Jazz. Now, that doesn't mean that you are absolved of all other responsibility. And I think that's where we sometimes mess up when we think about how prayer aligns with our mental health. Dr. Anita Phillips, wonderful, wonderful preacher and psychotherapist. Wonderful, wonderful woman, Dr. Anita Phillips. Look her up. She says, prayer is a weapon, therapy is a strategy. I'm going to say that again. Prayer is a weapon, therapy is a strategy, right? So when I'm saying that prayer is useful for our mental health, right? I'm not saying that you just pray and then that's it. That's all you got to do, right? No, you still have an obligation to work out some things, but it is simply a conversation that you are having with God about what's going on with you. It's the list, right? But taking the concrete steps to get your mental health in order, that is the strategy. That's how I'm going to receive everything that I prayed about, right? Keisha says, your prayer is your conversation between you and God, and he understands your lingo. Absolutely. I don't care what kind of lingo you use, he gets it, right? So when we pray, that's our weapon. That is our depression buster. That is our anxiety buster, right? But how we apply those things that we learn through our communication with God comes from the strategy that we learn in therapy. So you can't, if the most effective way to handle mental health threats, right? Because when I'm talking mental health, I'm talking about health, wellness, wholeness, not mental illness. The greatest threat to your mental health is stress. And really, all your stress is perception, because life is 90% or 10% what happens to us and 90% how we respond to it. You can put 6 people in the same situation. 6 people could be somewhere, their house could burn down, and you could get 6 different reactions because it's how we respond to it. So if we need help with our response, prayer then helps us to respond. It takes that initial edge off so that then we're free and clear to do the work that we need to do. Does that make sense? Well, Yanni is over here amening on Instagram. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Don't think, especially if I work with a lot of folks who identify as Christian, who sometimes have been beat up about integrating their faith and who they are as people of faith with their treatment. It doesn't have to be an either or. As a matter of fact, I believe that it can't be an either or if you're going to be successful. You have to bring all of you into that space. And if prayer is a weapon that you use regularly, that doesn't stop just because we start talking about challenges of mental health. It can't. Because if we say that we can use prayer for healing in our physical body, if we say that we can use prayer for divine intervention in other kinds of situations, are we really saying that our God is too small to handle the issues of our mind? Because when you start to separate the two, to me, that's kind of what you're saying. Hopefully that makes sense. Hi, Mom. Hopefully that makes sense. And I want you guys, especially those of you who are people of faith, remember that you don't have to, your faith doesn't end when stress begins, right? It shouldn't just start when your stress begins either, but that's a whole nother show. There's a whole nother thing. You need to use all of those weapons that you have at your disposal in order to be victorious in your fight for your own mental health. Y'all are like really amening me tonight. I'm really not trying to sound preachy, but it just kind of, this is one of the things that I'm very, very, very passionate about. Very, very, very passionate about. And this is, I think, very timely for today. Today is the National Day of Prayer. It's Mental Health Awareness Month. I don't take it lightly that the two are kind of occupying the same space at this time. So if you are a person of faith, please understand that God cares about all of you, including your stress and even the little stressors, right? She said, I'm spitting facts. I'm trying. Even the little stressors, even something like, for me, not being able to find the right earphones, right? And not, having to change it on the fly, and not having what I thought I needed to be successful, and just saying, okay, you got to make this work. How do I make it work? And it's working because I'm talking to you guys right now, right? So trust me when I tell you that, when we have these conversations and we are, having these dialogues about different situations, I'm not just telling you things that I've heard or that I've researched. I really, really, really believe in the power of therapy, but I really, really, really believe in the power of prayer. So much so that I make a practice of praying for my clients and those folks who are attached to me, because I know that there are some times that I just kind of don't exactly know what to say. So I need some divine intervention sometimes to help me be able to help the folks that I'm called to serve. So if you get nothing else from this, please understand that your prayer habits, your prayer life is a vital tool, vital weapon for you to get through all of life's challenges, the big challenges, the little challenges, and all points in between. And if you're here, then please know that you are in my prayers. Whatever it is that is going on, I often pray for you. Know that. And I don't say that just lightly. I really do mean that. That really is a part of who and what I am. And I really believe that that's why I've been as successful as I have been with my life in general, but my practice specifically. Because the folks that I work with are folks that they get me, I get them, and we get things done together. Right? And I know that it is all because of the power of prayer. So I think I've gotten everybody's comments. And oh, thank you. Thank you, Keisha Michelle 72. Praying for me too. Oh, thank you, Jazz. Y'all pray for your girl for real. So let me tell you what's coming up next. It is not by happenstance. I don't take it for granted. So while we're talking about praying, let's talk about what y'all can pray for. All of y'all that are commenting right now that I'm in your prayers and you're praying for me. I need you guys to pray that the end of this process for my dissertation comes quickly. So I am currently in a phase of peer review, and I am expected to get feedback from him on or before the 18th. And I am really praying that we can get through whatever the next round of revisions may be, if there are any revisions, and get to scheduling my dissertation defense. So all of you who are saying that you are praying for me, pray for that. Pray that this man hurries up and reviews my dissertation so that I can hurry up and get out of here quickly. Because I think that there's so much more to be done. And I have so many ideas for so many projects, so many things I'd like to do, but I got to get over this hurdle first. So those of you who said that you are praying, yes, Jazz, yes, Yanni, yes. That's what you guys can pray for me. And if there is something, almost, Doc, almost. If there is something that you specifically would like prayer for, I know a whole bunch of people that pray. I'm not necessarily the best at it. I'm really good at the Peter prayers, the Lord help me, the Lord save me type prayers. But, feel free. Drop it in my inbox. If there's something that, is bothering you, that you just want prayer about, hopefully I will be able to accept some new folks on my caseload in the next couple of weeks, as this stuff kind of clears up. So as stuff clears up. So I want to be able to move in purpose. Let's see. Okay. I think I got everybody. I'm going to send you my laundry list. Uh-oh. I think I might have started something here. But thank you guys for joining me tonight for the show. Again, this is something that I try to do every Thursday night. Excuse me. And this month, I'm going to be talking about themes related to mental health because it is Mental Health Awareness Month. And if you have topics that you want to discuss and you want to have a conversation about, I'm going to hit that inbox. Okay. If you have topics that you'd like to discuss here live on the show, be sure to submit them to me. You can drop it in my inbox, my DMs, if you're on Facebook or Instagram. If you happen to be following me on YouTube, the website is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. It's www.awakeningchange.org. Same thing for my Periscope fam. And know that I do very much listen to the concerns that you have. As a matter of fact, there are some topics that are coming up next month in June that I was asked to cover that are a little controversial, but I'm here for it. Wait a minute. Something just popped up. I got another comment. Red Bull, is it good for you or no? We had this conversation earlier, ma'am. I need you to lay off the Red Bull. Okay, we're gonna get better sleep. We're going to cut down on all of that artificial caffeine intake, and we're gonna be better. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. All right, guys. I think those are all of my announcements. If you haven't signed up for the mailing list, if you're on Insta, the link is in the bio. Just click on that link. It'll take you to the landing page and you can sign up. If you are on Facebook, if you go on our Facebook page, you'll see the link. And my YouTube and Periscope folks, www.awakeningchange.org. Hopefully, I will see all of you guys same time next week. And until then, like I said, know that I'm praying for you guys, and I'm wishing and hoping for only the very, very best from you. All right. Take care. Love you. Bye.